pride. But other than that,
that's the main thing. If you're okay, as long as you're physically okay, that's number one.
That would make for a good ADT commercial.
Very, very thankful for JC to cut the video off before I starfish Fat Elvis crawled from the truck to the grass. So that could be available at a later date, depending on the outcome of this season. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm just saying, I would have sat there for a minute and pondered life. You got right back up.
Well, I started sliding. I don't know if you could tell, I was still in mid-slide mode. And when I got to my one knee, I just slid about another 6 feet. I was afraid the longer I sat there, the better chance I was not going to be able to get up. But
well, like a good coach once said, once you fall down, sometimes a warrior just needs to have a good bleed.
Just bleed a little. Just sit there and take a count. And I just got a brand new phone because I cracked my other one, so that was the first thing I checked. Did you notice the keys go sprawling right to the left? Yeah, that was.
Most important thing, Coach, are you cleared? Cleared to coach?
Not yet. No, I gotta go through a little concussion protocol later today, but I've got that thing rigged. I failed the initial test so that I look way smarter if I happen to have gotten a head knock. But no, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. Don't expect any time off.
Well, after that, I'm not sure anyone wants to talk Mississippi State, but we will attempt to anyway. Coach, you want to talk a little bit about them tomorrow night?
Yeah, just, the first thing to address is, they played one game in about 22 or 23 days. That, presents the debate this year of, are they rested or are they rusted? Will they come out, energized like Tennessee did when we played them in a similar situation, or will there be some rust? I don't know. It's the only team in the SEC that our players have not got a victory against. That's always a concern because we've not done it. Nobody in our uniform has a victory over Mississippi State in the 4 years that we've been here. They do have the big kids around the basket and athletic guards. Their guards aren't as long as some of the other guards. They are athletic and they can guard, but they're not as, they don't present the vision problems that we normally see sometimes. So big matchup, kind of the first game of this end of our conference run, these next 5 games, vitally important in determining seed for the SEC tournament.
Paul, go ahead.
Well, let's to go down that line a little bit more. Do you see the start being more important for your kids with them being, maybe kind of charged up and emotional to begin, or is holding on and kind of finishing at the end maybe even bigger, the fact that they haven't played much?
Yeah.
Which do you feel like is a bigger deal, I guess?
I do hope we get off to a good start just for confidence wise, but you can't really talk a lot about that when you've been preaching for the last 6 weeks that every possession is the same. If I run in there and have the first 4 minutes is going to, then that kind of gets out of alignment with what we've been trying to do. But I obviously will be hopeful that we get off to a great start. I think that does give our group confidence and Mike could, for the visiting team, take some confidence away, but I won't make a big deal about it, but I do hope we get off to a good one.
Russell, go ahead.
I know they're a different team than what they were last year, but what differences have you seen without Vic there, with Nicky taking over?
They're both dribble drive offensive attacks. The defensive schemes have changed a little bit. She's still a very defensive minded coach. They will press. Their tactics are a little bit different. The way they guard ball screens is a little different than what they've done in the past. They don't take as many charges. That was always a hallmark and something that they kept charts on and things. They don't take as many charges, but they also don't get beat off the bounce as much sometimes for those charges to happen. I would say those are the two major differences. And then I think offensively, they will isolate mismatches with Rakia Jackson and Carter and their guards, Matharu and Mingo Young, and they've got the ability to do that maybe a little bit more than being a free flowing, never know who's going to hit you type offensive attack. Keith he's a guy that we've talked. He was with Mike Bradbury at New Mexico back when we were all exploring the positiveness of the dribble drive. So he really understands it. He coaches it well, and there was a lot of carryover with that. But the defensive side, I think, is where the most changes you'll see.
Alyssa, go ahead.
Marquisha Davis played really well against A&M. What have you seen with her growth? Again, I know we talk Erin Barnum a lot, but she's someone, again, who you feel more and more comfortable putting out there.
Yeah, and this is the time of the year when we strip away plays. Like our playbook is not as deep. The number of strategies we might be trying to implement are not as deep. So she benefits from that because she's a field player. She's not that A to B to C. She's make plays type player. And I think in games like that, and this is going to be one of those, like the Baylor game was, like the Maryland game was, there's certain matchups I think that you anticipate her having an impact on, and this is certainly one of them. And Erin as well. I think Erin can score around the basket on a couple of the matchups, even though she'll give up some size. But she and Marquisha's minutes will be very impactful for us because they play 8 or 9 kids, so we'll need to be able to do the same.
Porter, go ahead.
Coach, it seemed like Texas A&M really got in front of Chelsea and got some charges. Do you think that's what other teams are going to start kind of scouting on? And if so, what have you done to really kind of prepare Chelsea on her drives?
Bob Starkey has always had the mantra of keep her off the foul line, whatever that takes. Whether that's taking charges or flooding the lane early to where she does have to give it up and maybe get it back. I think we just got to keep showing her film and show her that there are some times when maybe you can pull up and kick it out to save that foul. But boy, it's a really thin line to walk. The second you start doing that takes away the aggressiveness. I'm okay if she has 2 charges tonight. That's fine. You just can't have those other 2 reach-ins. So that's what I keep really impressing upon her is, hey, you can't get that. Like she took the first foul of the game because she was out of position and she probably saved a shot, but that's got a real compounding effect on how hard she can attack the basket. So I do want her to see that open window when she draws 3 people. If it's 2, keep taking it in there. But if you've drawn that third one, find Amber, find Slocum, find Michaela, whoever spotted up. But yeah, defenses try to do that. There's only again, it's the absolute very, very best defenses that are able to do it. But we're going to see a couple of good ones down the stretch. So that'll be where her growth comes, I think, Porter.
Seth, go ahead.
Mike, you mentioned the value of every possession. What have you done with your team to make them value those possessions throughout the game?
Show it to them, not clip the game in order. I think we as coaches show them from start to finish because that's the easy way to do it as you're clipping it. Don't do it that way. We put them in order of this could have changed the game. This play right here, not getting this rebound in the middle of the second quarter at Texas A&M cost us 5 points. They hit us because we didn't get the rebound. They kicked it out, drove it in, and Taylor got a foul, and they scored. So that's 3 points on that play. Plus, I'm just being conservative when I say it cost us 2 points of defense with Taylor having to set out early. So getting that rebound could have swung 5 points. So we put them on the film in order of impact and fixability. Hey, if it's a rebound that, Rakia Jackson jumps up and gets at a higher point than any of us can jump, no problem. But if it's a loose ball that came our way that we didn't try to get and they tried harder to get, we got to get that fixed. So I've challenged all of our 8 kids, all 8 of our kids that play, the most minutes, get 1 more rebound a game. That Mississippi, that Texas A&M looking up and getting out rebounded like 40 something to 18. That one stung the whole way home. because I think there were 12 balls. I think we found 12 that we had just as good a chance of getting as they did. And they got all 12 of them. So if each one of those kids can be focused on finding a way to get one more per game, that gives us 8 total rebounds that could be the difference in a win and a loss the rest of the way out in every game that we play. So making it important, I guess, is the short answer to that, Seth. Emphasize it, make it important, show it to them, show them exactly what we're talking about. We're not talking about that rebound that we don't expect you to get. This is the ones we expect you to get or try to get.
Jacob, go ahead.
Mike, is there a difference in mentality going into this one, knowing that you guys finally get a week off after this and get some rest compared to last Thursday when you had to play 3 days later?
It seemed like it yesterday, Jacob, when we got together. It did seem like there was hey, let's give it all we got because we got some time. And this is why we've been doing those things so we can get to this point. So I felt that a little bit yesterday. That's a good thing to have pointed out. I probably didn't notice it yesterday, but looking back on it now, yeah, there was a little bit of that. And we didn't really prep yesterday. Yesterday was more of an us day, work on the things that we need to do. Today we'll turn to the prep day, and we will use a shoot around tomorrow with it being a home game. So our day and a half prep will start really today. But yeah, I hope that continues today because it was our kids had to break, it may have been a good thing. I had a couple of team friends that coach teams whose Super Bowl parties got them into quarantine. So maybe not having the ability to have a Super Bowl party, kept us from having that. But I do think that the day off now being on Valentine's Day, it kind of made some of our kids smile when they realized they were going to be off on Valentine's Day.
Paul, go ahead.
Hey, back to Chelsea a little bit. Have you seen just a variety of things, and can you kind of speak to that of them opposing defenses trying to slow her down? Have they done different things?
Yeah, sometimes it's sit in there and come off of Taylor or Aaron and then help down with a guard. Sometimes it's they've left Amber at times and said, go in there and make her pass it. So I think showing her that, and we've been talking to her. It's inevitable at this time of the year with a kid like her getting the national attention and the WNBA talk. So we kind of used that and said, hey, in the WNBA, you're going to need to make that, and you need to do it here too. So I think she's taken that as a little bit of a personal challenge to improve on. And but again, I'm not telling her not to drive it in there. I'm not, because that just takes away who she is, and I'm afraid that can get very confusing for a kid. I know it would be for me, on when to drive, when not to drive. Is this should I shoot it? Should I drive it? I don't want it to get to that point. But yeah, I think there's some commonalities between how teams do it. I think we've seen about every one of them now. So we should be being able to make some, better decisions with it and still be aggressive, still make aggressive decisions and fix one a game. And that could be the difference.
Sure.
Russell, go ahead.
How much does it help that Amber's averaging close to 20 points the last 4 games, after the Georgia game? What's changed in her game?
We've gotten her better shots. There was a period there where we weren't getting her enough or very many really clean, good open ones, but just made a couple of slight adjustments. We've had the ball in Slocum's hands a little bit more in the half court, which, Mac's probably percentage-wise a better shooter for us. So that also takes away different help angles. So Amber shooting it, not only the percentage, but where she's shooting it from too. I mean, you really have a long closeout. If you're going to be in there trying to clog the paint on a drive by Chelsea or by Mac or by Slocum, man, that's a really long closeout. So, but she's done a really good job off the dribble too. A lot of times a big kid will run out there and try to take her shot away on that closeout or that switch. And she's been really good at shooting that little mid-range pull-up shot. She's got such a quick release. That's where her, shot being a little unorthodox helps her because it's not as high. She can get it off from a little bit lower and create fouls. So I think that's helped. I think it's helped all of our spacing. Our offense has been pretty good. It's just we've got to find a way to get in our initial first shot defense is really good. We just have given up too many second chance and third chances and fourth chances. But Amber's in a really good spot. She is very, she battled. I think we talked about her off the court stuff with some sick family members. She's gotten through that now, and I think has used it to motivate her, and it's really shown in how she's performed.
Alyssa, go ahead.
Hey, Mike. So I know that you talked about the ice thing. This is Will.
This is my opportunity.
This is
Hey.
Will. This is Will's opportunity to
normal,
ask
boring
you
news reporter.
some ice safety questions.
I'm in. Thanks, Will.
Yeah. So you made some waves in our newsroom this morning,
Okay.
to say the least. So first off, happy to see that you're okay.
Yep.
Happy to see that we can joke about it. But
Yep.
I'm sure that on a boring front, there's some underlying message of be safe out there. What was your thought behind posting it?
It was that if somebody if it helps one person to not fall today, share it. That's what I just texted somebody. If it saves one fall, share it all. I mean, if somebody saw that and laughed and said, "Oh, I need to walk on the grass," or maybe I should put some salt out, or slow down, or wear golf cleats. I think the best meme I got the Lionel Richie from his Can't Slow Down album laying down there. I was kind of like him with my elbow. I've seen some good surf videos, but yeah, sharing it, if it saved one person, really my team was who I was going to send it to at first, because I knew they were ready to be getting up and headed out to class, and I didn't want any of them to fall. Then I thought, well, family members. Then I thought, well, I mean, all these people have been liking Bowen's videos. Man, maybe I can help one less person. Because it's a serious deal. I know of people who have, had serious injuries that cause death from a fall, very much like that. Obviously, my uber trained athleticism and training regime, allowed me, my MMA training, to fall on my shoulder, not put my hand out. Some of that obviously came back into my immediate reactions, cat-like quickness to avoid major injury. If I could share that with just anybody, that's where it kind of came from.
It was pretty athletic the way you went down there.
I thought so. I thought it was incredible. I've been breaking it down. There's lots to break down there and unpack, but like I say, it could have been, if I'd had Bowen in my hands, it'd have been way worse, because I would have saved him and cracked my head, I'm sure. So got lucky I wasn't carrying him out.
Definitely. Last question. Do you mind if I put that video on the news?
No, go ahead.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
If it saves one person from falling, that or makes anybody laugh on a day-to-day, then it's all good.
Thanks.
I appreciate it a lot.
You got
Yes,
it.
I always love to see what you're watching on your TV during our Zoom meeting.
I'm in season
I'm keeping
2,
track.
Season 2 of West Wing. The second that Ted Lasso comes out, it'll be Ted Lasso for the next.
There you go.
It is absolutely incredible. I've watched it 4 times through, and it'll be my new in office rotation.
Thank you, Coach.
Porter, go ahead.
So, Coach, did your experience in mime help you not say anything audibly that could be shown on that video?
I would definitely. I'm going to thank Nick Pinalto publicly later for not installing microphones on those outdoor cameras, because it would have not been allowed to be aired, I'm sure, on the news had the audio been on there, because I get a little too reactive verbally. But yeah, it probably would have been comical, but not worthy of saving anybody from falling.
Seth, go ahead.
Mike, last week you mentioned that you had your council of seniors and you were playing cards with them.
Yep.
One question: what are you playing with them?
It's a new game called 22. It's the newest card. I got Kelsey Plum taught it to me down in Florida when we were down there playing in the tournament. And to my best recollection, it's the first new card game I've learned in 42 years. Like, not like some of that, like Phase 10 or Uno Plus or something. I mean, like a deck of cards, me versus you, and maybe some other people head to head. It's the first time I've learned this new game. It's called 22. And I taught it to them back at the first of the year, and or not the first year, but the first of this 2021 year when we started meeting. And it gets competitive. I would like to point out that Taylor Thomas and I won yesterday. We were the winners, and Chelsea was the loser. So she finished last.
Who's normally the best at it?
It's been funny. We've all kind of had our moments. Destiny Slocum is kind of low-key sly. Jalen Mason is really a lot of fun because she thinks she's got it figured out. She's this real deep thinker. Y'all know Jalen well enough. And the thing about this game is the strategy of your hand literally changes with every play. Like you can be sitting there thinking, man, I got him. And then somebody makes a play right before you, and it just completely changes. So Jalen's she's the wittiest, I think, and the most conniving. Ramirez is very she's like this on the court too. Like she's always kind of like, if it was a poker match, she's like trying to get reads on people. She's trying to understand everybody's hands, but it's kind of a neat thing to see all their personalities come out as we play it and learn it. And I think they've taken the game and taught some of their friends back when they play at home and stuff too. So it's a neat game. You got to look the rules up. It's kind of a fun game called 22.
And then kind of going off of that, who is in that Council of Seniors group, and how have they been able to help the team off of these tough losses that y'all have come off of?
It's 5 of my seniors that do the bulk of the playing. So I don't have Macy and I don't have Grace in there of our 7 seniors just because their position and how many minutes they played. So we don't have captains because of the way our group is. And so it's Taylor and Destiny and Amber and Chelsea and Jalen. And it just gives us a way. I mean, we talk about the team and in between hands. Yesterday, I showed them a couple of TED Talks, had a couple of handouts, showed them our 2016 team at Washington. I printed out our schedule and I showed it to them, and we kind of dissected it and looked at the fact that, we had 10 losses going into the NCAA tournament that year. We played a real challenging schedule. We'd had a couple of losses down the stretch, and they saw the correlations there, and we talked about it and what that team did down the stretch to get focused. So we did a little exercise on focusing. Have y'all ever seen that one where there's 4 people dressed in white uniforms and 4 people dressed in dark uniforms, and they ask you to count the passes that the white team makes? And then at the end, there's pull up basketball awareness test after we hang up and watch it, see if you get it right. We watched that yesterday and just talked about focusing on the right things. And I think it's just kind of a different way to, instead of having a meeting in my office that feels like you got called to the principal's office, let's get the cards out and play some cards and talk.
Jacob, go ahead.
How much or how big has it been, I guess, having Erin off the bench this time of year when, late in the year, girls are starting to get a bit tired?
She gives us an offensive punch. And if you notice, a lot of times I will sub her in when we take one of our other main scorers out so that we give us another opportunity. She's got such good hands, got such good feel for ball screen defense. And she gives us a little bit, she gives Taylor a little bit of a rest. But knowing that we can go there for, between 12 and 20 minutes and get no drop off, it's very, it's what's the word I'm looking for here? It's relieving. I don't like, if Taylor gets a second foul, there's no panic. Go ahead, Aaron, shoot. Go ahead. And between the 2 of them, if you look what they've done, you add their numbers together, that's a pretty, they've got a pretty good combined stat average for that spot, playing against who they have to play against. But it allows you to let Taylor play aggressively and not worry about foul trouble. and know that you've got two different type of options you can play in around the basket.
Anyone else for Coach? All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it there. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
See y'all.
Mike.
Take care.
You bet.
Thanks, Mike.